All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. We have Michael Prothe. He is Mutual of Omaha's Brokerage Health Sales Director, and he's going to cover the Critical Advantage Plan and really show us how it can help fill in the gaps with our Medicare coverage and help ensure long-term care declines. So once again, thank you, Michael, for being here with us today, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. Again, my name is Michael Prothe. Joining me today, I have Kyle Cooper, Internal Sales Support. Kyle is our local person in Omaha. I happen to be in Omaha today. Otherwise, I call Kansas City my home, and the rest of the time I find myself on the road, coast to coast and tip to tip. So with that, Kyle and I will be our primary points of contact when it comes to all things Critical Advantage and provide any type of support, and our contact information will go up on another screen. And of course, all this information will be made available to you after the call is done today. So we'll plan on spending about 25-30 minutes going over the product itself, how to quote the product, sales ideas, and how we're seeing sales success take place with the Critical Advantage portfolio. And of course, if there's any questions, just let me know. So with that, again, most everyone is going to be familiar, comfortable with the idea of using Mutual of Omaha as a carrier. We're not ever going to embarrass anybody from a ratings perspective. These have continued to be reinforced in 2019. High ratings, and so knowing that you have Mutual of Omaha as a supplemental coverage option to provide a solution to your clients is going to be a very good thing, and give peace of mind to that option available to you. So the way I want to start the product origination here is the idea that, you know, the product itself was created by a person not in the insurance industry. And so not being in the insurance industry, this is where the concept itself is good to know that, you know, why use a lump sum, a diagnosis type of a product. And Dr. Marius Bernard was a world-renowned cardiovascular surgeon, and he found that a person needs this type of protection, critical illness insurance, not because you're going to die, but because you're going to survive. So those things, from a modern technology, medicinal advances, those things that used to take our lives were now being kept alive longer. And given his cardiovascular background, he knew that with all those abilities that he had to heal his patients physically, the financial stress that was being caused was actually what was killing them and working against everything he was doing as a doctor. So the insight there is that we have a product of which provides somebody financial relief if in the event a diagnosis takes place. And that's something that we're never going to be embarrassed by. We should always have an opportunity to give that conversation, or have that conversation, with every single prospect or client that we meet with. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we would engage with each of those individuals. So then, from that standpoint, apologize, looks like there. So because I have a background in the disability income protection world as well, my background is around income. So wherever you're at in the prospect, you know, experience pool, whether you're earning an income, whether you're in retirement and you're on a fixed income, you're creating, you're needing to create income. That's why I ask, is your income important to you? And that's an entry point question that I ask anyone, because is your income important to you would be true for whether or not you're working or whether you're retired, because the income is cash flow, because we all know the things that it's going to pay for, whether it's rent, car payments, insurance, groceries, all of those types of things. That's what the income is going to be there and available. And just because you go into a retirement mode where you're not earning an income, the need to have an income is still going to be paramount to having success or joy in those retirement years. So then, as we think about, I'm not sure exactly why I'm having a delay on my computer. There we go. So from my perspective, what I talk about for individuals in the world of insurance, it doesn't matter whether they're in the med sup world, whether they're in the LTC world, life insurance world, we have taken a unique position to being a protection planning specialist. The protection planning specialist really creates financial peace of mind regardless of the financial circumstances they might find themselves in. So we want to be able to add more value to an existing relationship, because I think we can agree that going back to somebody that already knows you as a trusted insurance specialist is a lot easier than going out, paying for a lead, and trying to figure out how am I going to get my next piece of business. It's the product itself is easy for the prospect and their client to understand. Most everybody's going to be interested in the product that we're talking about, but they really don't know who to turn to or if anything is even really available that fits their concerns. The idea that technology, making it easy to quote, easy to apply, and this one is one of which I really appreciate, because everybody loves to have the idea of daytime activity. Some people still make calls during the day. Some people still do knocking, door knocking, and that's where small business opportunities, small business owner opportunities abound in this space, because again, we're talking about something that's going to provide financial peace of mind to the individuals that otherwise, if something were to happen to them, like a cancer diagnosis, where are they going to go to first? They're going to go to the person of which they work for, the small business owner, and say, can I have extra time off? Can I get some more paid sick leaves? So this helps relieve the pressure of the business owner having to provide those types of options. So how to start the conversation? Again, the conversation start is, I have the number one place here, the Medicare supplement opportunity. And this is where we've seen the greatest degree of success in the critical advantage portfolio, the lump sum products. This is where, congratulations on your purchase of a Medicare supplement policy. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, who is your cancer protection plan with? So when thinking about that easy inroad, some individuals like to make that type of a sale or introduction to a product solution at the time of the sale of the med sup policy. Others like to use that as a follow-up call after 30 days, after 60 days. Just wanted to make sure that you had received your med sup cards. So that med sup opportunity where they're going into the Medicare supplement world or even the Medicare Advantage world, and I understand the rules of engagement about Medicare Advantage, what you can and what you can't talk to, but this doesn't ever prohibit you from following up and making sure you're just going to go in. You've paid for the lead of a med sup client. You've paid for the lead of an LTC lead. Now we're talking about sunk cost. A product like this would be just pure profitability to your bottom line. And this is where I think there's the opportunity, the Medicare supplement opportunity. One carrier in particular, they have a little more forward approach to it, where they say, congratulations on the purchase of your Medicare supplement policy. Whatever you do, don't cancel your cancer protection plan. That's a little more than what I'm willing to engage in on. However, for me, it's more about, hey, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, can you share with me, has anybody within your circle of friends, family members, or business associates been diagnosed with cancer in the past 12 months? If you lead with that type of a question, unfortunately most of us today, we all raise our hands and say, yeah, we have had somebody that's been directly impacted by a diagnosis of cancer. If you need or would like to, you follow up with a couple more questions and just say, was it expected? Well, no, of course it wasn't expected. Would more money have helped? Well, of course, because otherwise you might have to think of alternate means as to how we're going to make those ends meet. So that's the Medicare supplement. On the long-term care opportunity, we've seen individuals start to go into this area from a standpoint of thinking about it from a 90 or 180-day elimination period. That one of the number one triggers from an LTC perspective might be Alzheimer's. Well, as long as a person is 64 or younger, and I'll show you the parameters of each of the products, but it's one thing to consider if you're working with the LTC or you're working with the Med Sup client where you start to access them at age 64 and a half, the critical illness plan, which has a triggering event of Alzheimer's, might be a good option to consider as a filling the gap of the protection, of the coverage. One of the things that we have found is that not everybody gets approved. I know this comes as a shock, but not everybody gets approved for a long-term care, a traditional long-term care product. Sometimes that might be as a result of the musculoskeletal questions, and if they have a musculoskeletal issue that prevents them from getting a long-term care product, well, on our product portfolio, we don't ask any questions about musculoskeletal. We don't ask any questions about family history. So these are the types of things that I'll go into a little more detail when we talk about the product, but I want you to begin thinking about, as you look at this list of 6 entry points, it pretty much encapsulates everyone who is eligible to have this conversation with. And by eligible, I mean everybody that you're talking to could have this conversation and not be opposed to having a solution if in the event a diagnosis were made and a lump sum of money could have been given to them. The life insurance prospect, again, the life insurance prospect is someone who knows that, yes, there's a 100% chance that we're all going to die. Massive phone surveys have been done. It's just going to happen. However, the modern technology, the medicinal advances that we talked about, you might have a diagnosis, but death might not be imminent now. There's much more of a survivability, but that doesn't mean there's going to be a minimization of the need of income or cash flow to help make ends meet. And those are the types of things from a life insurance prospect. You're going to be that person as the protection planning specialist who are protecting the family members who survive. In this example, because we're talking about a lump sum product upon diagnosis, this is where you're going to be alive to see a benefit paid and not have to deal with that, overwhelming amount of financial stress that might be caused. The small business owner, we touched on that. The small business owner, just one other, tidbit in terms of it could be used for the employees. I have seen and started to incorporate the business owner in this conversation with any type of, if they have a business partner, and we start to talk about a business continuity plan, a buy-sell agreement, or a key person, where a lump sum product with a critical illness trigger is going to be made payable to the business to help replace the income of the business owner or that key person upon diagnosis. So it's a little more creative way. If you've got questions about that, I'd be happy to follow up with you. P&C clients. Property and casualty clients, everybody has an X date. Everybody has an X date for when their homeowner's policy is renewing, when their motorcycle or car or anything like that. This has been a real good inroad for customer service reps, CSRs, to have conversations about, because a lot of them still call and say, hey, your renewal date's coming up, no changes are going to be made. Oh, by the way, were you aware that we had a plan now that if diagnosed with cancer, you would get a lump sum? No, I didn't. How about sending me a quote? The health insurance prospect, again, the health insurance prospect in light of all the change and the variability that takes place with the health insurance plans, many individuals, many agents are actually packaging, positioning the critical illness plan, again, 64 or under, or the cancer, stroke, heart attack plan, to help create a more secure package of the health insurance plan is going to be one half of a real health plan, because the health insurance product that you pick, that's going to make sure to pay all the providers and places of which you gain services from. This product is going to be the only product that's actually going to pay you. So we like that idea that you're putting a plan together that actually has a foundation, and the idea that there is a plan that's going to pay the providers of which you're receiving care, and there's going to be a plan of which is going to be paid to you to help further recovery. So just how you position those types of things, that's 6 places where I think it'd be a good idea just to begin to look at your existing book of business, or if you're looking to incorporate a new opportunity, and really to take away the ebbs and flows of the sales cycle that a lot of times Medicare supplement people will find themselves in, that this could create an opportunity to go off the season to create additional revenue flow for clients of which are already in your book. So there's the contact information for Kyle and I. Again, that number that you see up there, the 913-488-1532, that's my mobile phone. You're more than welcome to send me a text. Just make sure to identify yourself. Kyle Cooper is going to be in the Central Standard Time Zone here in Omaha. That's his office number there. and emails for both of us, and we'll make sure to provide this information to you after the meeting as well. So here's the portfolio itself. Here's a little bit about what the content of the Critical Advantage portfolio, that's what we call it. But within the Critical Advantage portfolio, it's actually made up of 3 specific plan designs, but it has 4 combinations that could be sold. The critical illness, which has the traditional 12 triggers, the cancer standalone, the stroke heart attack standalone, or you can pair up cancer, stroke, heart attack in a rider version. The product is available in all states except Montana, so I'm sorry if Montana is a hotbed of sales activity for you. Let me know, and we'll see if we can get it approved. But otherwise, all other states are going to be at your disposal. Things that are going to be good for you. It's going to be fast and easy. Hey, everybody loves competitive comp. You do have an eQuote e-app process, or you can do a paper app to your discretion. No policy fee. To the small business owner opportunity, again, payroll deduction, list bills available. Simplified underwriting, yes, no knockout questions. I'll go into more detail about that in a moment. It is available for our marketer incentive trips for MSL, multiple quoting options. What's in it for your customers, your clients, your prospects? Paid direct to consumer. It's easy because there's just 3 questions for the cancer plan. It's got a built-in return of premium on critical illness. Filling in gaps for health coverage, we talked about that. Guaranteed renewable for the life of the contract. Individual family coverage plan, so there's flexibility there. No reduction of benefits at age 65. That's an important one because there are carriers out there that you've been paying on the product, it looked cheap in the beginning. Well, it looked cheap at the beginning because then when you hit 65, you're going to cut your benefits in half. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you like to have what you want to have for the length of the benefit period selected. Rates based on current age, and there is a child conversion option if you were to get the family plan. And that family plan just says that if in the event you have children that are listed on the policy, they could convert to an individual plan at the age of which they turn 26 or marriage, whichever were to come first. So here's just a little bit of insight as far as the product itself for critical illness. Like I mentioned, age 64 is the max issue age. You're not going to hear me talk a lot about the term options because the term options are not available in all states, so I stick to just lifetime benefits. Individual plus children and family. Our family plan is actually the husband and wife. Benefit amounts from $10,000 to $100,000 in $1,000 increments. The lump sum benefit is paid out if upon diagnosis, and there is a return of premium upon death of that primary insured, and that return of premium is built in if you have a family plan, and if the spouse, the husband passes, no claims have been made, the return of premium is going to be paid to the beneficiary, and the wife's coverage continues to be in place with an adjusted premium. Coverage options, like I said, there is some term options available that will have some reduction of income. However, I tend to focus just on the lifetime coverage. What things are going to be the triggering events? The internal cancer, malignant melanoma, here's your heart attack, here's your stroke, Alzheimer's. Please note that on some states, there's 2 states that Alzheimer's is not a triggering event, state of California. So state of California and state of Virginia is the other one. So again, California we expect, Virginia is just a little kooky as well. Blindness, paralysis, deafness, kidney failure, major organ transplant. Note that you'll get 25% of the benefit amount for either a coronary artery bypass surgery or angioplasty. There are 2 riders, the ICU or the cash value. The cash value is going to be a different rider, that it's a living return of premium. We just can't say that in all the states. That's why we call it the cash value. I'll be quite honest, I don't see a lot of plans written with the ICU or cash value rider included. The cancer, heart attack, and stroke plan, that's the one that we see most often because of the issue ages in the med sup world. So you'll note that the issue ages are up to age 89. Again, there's a couple of states that issue age is only up to age 64 for all products. Again, California being one of them. So we've got in our product and underwriting guides that I'll make sure to forward PDF versions to you each that identifies what some of the state variances might be. Lump sum benefit upon diagnosis, again, the amounts 10 to 100,000, lifetime coverage, as I mentioned. Please note that there is not a return of premium option on the cancer or the stroke heart attack. That is only built into the critical illness plan. When will the triggers take place? Again, from a cancer perspective, the diagnosis of internal cancer or malignant melanoma, and then on the stroke heart attack, you'll get 100% if the heart attack and stroke conditions are met, or 25% of the coronary artery bypass or angioplasty. So if you have a $10,000 lump sum benefit and you have coronary angioplasty surgery, you're going to get $2,500, and there'll be a pool of $7,500 remaining. So you'll note that underneath of cancer is one of the optional riders. I made reference to you could add a heart attack stroke rider. So let's say you had a cancer protection plan for $30,000. You could get a heart attack stroke plan for $10,000. And vice versa. It's not going to have an impact on your pricing. If you said I wanted to get a $30,000 heart attack stroke plan, you could get a $10,000 cancer plan. And if in the event a cancer plan paid, you'd get $10,000, and you would still have a $30,000 heart attack stroke in place. So this is something we just continue to promote, even though it took place last year, is because if you looked at our rates and you thought, yeah, they're pretty competitive, well, we know that they're really competitive now. In most cases, they're going to be leading the pack because our rates are going to be unisex. They are unit tobacco, and we did do a across-the-board rate reduction by 20%. This is the state variance matrix that I spoke about. Again, it'll just show that there are a handful of states that have some achy requirements from a state insurance department perspective, and that's going to be found in our product and underwriting guide. Quoting tools. How do you go about getting an amount of premium for this? We've got multiple places to do this at. Clearly, you have the e-quote, e-application process. It's available through SPA, which is Sales Professional Access, the Mutual of Omaha website. And so you have that option where you could go right into the e-application. It'll have a quote engine. That quote engine could actually take you then straight into the application itself. You do have access to it through Winflex if you want to create a PDF version and you want to look at multiple options. Winflex allows for you to quote the Critical Advantage portfolio. And then finally, the quotes on the go. So if you're not using our mobile quote tool, I highly encourage you to go to the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, search for the Mutual of Omaha Quotes for Sales Professionals, download that, and you can start to quote a wide variety of products on behalf of Mutual of Omaha. But when you get into that one, you'll note that it's under the Critical Advantage portfolio. This, again, is Winflex. It just gives you an example of what the PDF is going to look like. If you need information about how to log into the broker-only site, you'll need a producer number first, create the username and password, and if you've got any other questions about that, that's my limit of knowledge. You get to call and visit with Kyle. All right, so here's that e-quote e-app. That again, that's through Sales Professional Access. You note that you get a quote, start the application, and you can actually view your book of business and where it's at in the application process. When you go through the application and you actually send it to the client, the e-signature process is done by way of an email. And so the client would complete the application. You could do this in person. You could do it over the phone. You submit. You send that application to the client for e-signature. It comes back. It goes into your producer portal, and then you submit it to Mutual of Omaha. When those are received in good order, you're going to see those turned around within 24 to 48 hours. And again, remember, in good order could be 3 questions for the cancer plan. So we see a lot of policies that are auto-issue because all the answers have been answered no, and they get issued boom. So here's that mobile quote tool that I referred to. There it is in the Critical Advantage icon. Underwriting might be one of the best things that we have in terms of ease of underwriting. So for benefits amount between $10,000 and $50,000, that's where I made reference that there's 3 knockout questions for applications for cancer, which is, do you have AIDS, HIV? Have you in the past 10 years been diagnosed with cancer? And after that, are you 10 years cancer-free, no further treatment? And then, have you in the past 3 years had any tests that were done, but they did not yet rule out cancer? So basically, if you have had a test but it has not yet ruled out cancer, we wouldn't be able to issue a policy until that has been addressed. Again, 3 additional questions for the heart attack stroke. Those are the questions for the 10 to 50,000. If you go between 51,000 and 100,000, it's still those questions. However, there will be an MIB and a farm check done. I know, shockingly, not everybody tells the truth on an insurance application. The random telephone interview is just that. It's for 1 out of every 10 applications received in the home office. We'll get a follow-up call, and all we're doing is just asking the questions on the application again. So the product and underwriting guide, you heard me mention that. I'll be sure to send one of these out to all those that are on the call today. That is accessible, again, if you're familiar with our broker site. Just a couple of examples here in terms of a 60-year-old female applied for cancer policy. She had a history of lung cancer, but the last treatment was 12 years ago. She has follow-up exams. She would be approved for that type of coverage. 61-year-old male applied for a critical illness policy. They had a 10-year history of diabetes type 2, A1C of 6 for the past 2 years, and they are non-tobacco. So a point of clarification here. When this product was first introduced, we had a question on the application that said, have you ever been diagnosed with diabetes? Well, clearly, have you ever been diagnosed with diabetes was knocking out a lot of people. And Mutual of Omaha, given the experience it has in the world of LTC, we know that there is, the not-so-good diabetes and the controlled diabetes, and so that's why we modified the question to be able to, to address not everybody that has been diagnosed with diabetes needs to be an automatic knockout. So then this just talks a little bit more about the Getting Started guide. When you go into that critical illness e-application, if you want, there is a sandbox, a place of which you can go out and just test it, just to get a feel for what you're going to be doing. We're more than happy to send that link to you if that's something you have interest in. Again, we want to be here for you from a carrier perspective, so we've got lots of brochures, things of which are available for consumer use only. We've got the entire Critical Advantage portfolio, might be a combination of cancer, heart attack, and stroke, or if you want to just focus on cancer insurance. From a cancer insurance perspective, again, that seems to be one where the most sales and activity is taking place, likely because cancer is just becoming a conversation that more people are being accustomed to having. Again, there's some prospecting tools that are out there. You see there, the one on the left is going to be a perforated card. If you wanted to do a mailing to an existing book of business, we'd be happy to help you with that. There's a letter that's included there. Again, all these marketing materials are going to be available on our broker site for you to take a look at. Also within the broker site, we do have some videos. These 2 videos, we're not going to watch them. However, they're videos of a producer of how he's had success in making these types of sales. Ashley Frame, she's another individual that she was actually a person who worked with us when we did the launch of this product. She did not own the product, but as a young woman, family, 3 children, married, but no family history, no reason to ever think that she was going to be that person diagnosed with breast cancer. She goes into a little bit more from an emotional perspective of what would this type of product done for her and her family if she had made that decision to purchase this type of protection plan. So from that standpoint, our contact information is back up there. I know this might be like getting a drink of water from a fire hose. However, I want to be respectful of your time. I wanted to keep this at about 30 minutes. And so if in the event there are any questions out there, I don't know exactly how we would be best able to manage the questions, but if anybody has any out there, I'd be happy to address them.
Yeah, Michael, this is Jen. A couple questions have come in throughout the presentation. The first one is, and you did answer this after he had typed in the question, but of course, is the e-application, he's asking, is the e-application for critical illness only? But I think I saw on your slide that you just change the product, whether if you wanted cancer only, or if you want the heart attack and stroke, or if you want the full critical illness. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the second question he asked is there a website link for prospects to auto-enroll themselves, or does it have to go through the agent?
That is a great question, and it is something that goes through the agent because this is not a direct-to-consumer product. We still look to our advisors and marketing partners like Golden Care to help facilitate that. So that's something, that's where we go to do the business, to provide the support. So we want that advisor engagement. There is not a prospect type of a portal.
Great. Another question that came in, it says, as long as I apply by age 64 for critical illness, I can keep it for life?
That is exactly right. So as long as your date of birth, as long as you have not yet turned 65, you could do this at 64 years old, 360 days, and you would be categorized as that 64-year-old. And that's where we have seen individuals who begin to market to the 64 and a half prospect pool for Medicare supplement. Many individuals have had success by creating a path of, yep, I've got a Mutual of Omaha product now, I'm just going back to talk to them about Medicare supplement.
Perfect, great. Well, those are the only questions that have come in so far. With that too, thank you so much, Michael and Kyle, for being on the call with us today. Of course, if you guys do have any questions, looks like Michael and Kyle threw out their information, so feel free to ask the experts. But you know what, give us a call here at Golden Care as well. We can definitely help you out with these products. If you're not currently contracted, give us a call, and we can help you out there too. Again, Golden Care's number is 800-842-7799. But once again, thank you everyone for attending, and thank you so much, Michael, for presenting today.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.